President Rodrigo Duterte,
Vice President Leni Robredo said that
Presidential Fourth Runner and former Senator Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr.,
the Commission on Elections or COMELEC
Employment in the Philippines declined by 6.4%.
Early registration for academic year 2022-2023.
2 suspects identified as members of the Basag Salamin crime group were arrested.
The Commission on Elections, the COMELEC, is set to send vote counting machines.
Singer actor Ronnie Lian has achieved another milestone in his life.
bringing you the top stories for tonight. I am Alvin Pelobello.
and I'm Trisha Gatitos. Welcome to Eurotv News Tonight. Your news, our business.
Good evening, bringing you the top stories for tonight. My name is Alvin Pelobello. Welcome to Eurotv News Tonight. Your news, our business. Going straight to the headlines, the Department of Foreign Affairs says the Philippines initiated termination joint talks in oil exploration with China. Fisher Fox Group welcomes termination talks in oil exploration. Piston calls Marcos's administration to review oil deregulation law, stop fuel tax. Rodriguez says Marcos's administration plans to enact a law extending barangay officials' term into 5 years. And in sports, Kaiso fails to be drafted in the NBA along with 2 other Filipino players. The Philippines has terminated joint oil exploration talks with China in the West Philippine Sea. Foreign Affairs Secretary Teodoro Locsin Jr. has revealed that the Philippines initiated the said termination of negotiations. The said negotiations have lasted for 3 years with constitutionally possible. However, there is a constitutional crisis that would put risk for another step of the negotiations. The country's diplomat has marked that it is up for the next administration to protect the Philippine sovereignty. In relation to this, Fisher Fox Group has welcomed the development after the Philippines and China have terminated oil exploration talks in the waters of the Philippines. Pambansang Lakas ng Mamalakaya sa Pilipinas or Pamalakaya, National Chairman Fernando Hicap said stopping bilateral talks in oil exploration is a good development as he cited that this could help a lot of Fisher Fox in the country. Hicap added that the government should preserve the water or what the country had and should lay down a program that would help even the small fishermen.
Totally withdraw na yung bilateral talks kaugnay sa exploration. Dahil nga doon, sabi niya, dahil doon sa mga constitutional violation doon sa talks. Ano? Welcome sa amin yun. Kasi napakalaking epekto nito. No? Kung matuloy yun, yung exploration, yung joint exploration, automatic po ang tatamaan doon yung mga mangingisda. Malinaw yun na perimeter ng kung saan tatayo yung mga exploration yan, bawal ng mangisda. No? At yan ay security. At yung pipeline, kung saan yan papadaanin, ay magkakaroon na ng boundary yan. Hindi na yan pwedeng dumaan yung mga mangisda, yung mag-cross sa mga pipeline. No? Kaya malaking epekto sa atin.
Yes.
At sa long term, hindi dapat binibigay yung yaman mo, no? Ang dapat yung yaman natin, tayo yung magprotekta, tayo yung mag-instruct para matiyak natin yung 100% na pakinabang, no? Ng ating bayan. Kaya dapat yung sarili muna natin, yung palakasin natin, huwag nating ibigay ang yaman natin sa ibang bansa. Matagal nang pinaglalawayan niya ng China yung West Philippine Sea. Isa yan sa target talaga nila, yung natural and oil deposit sa West Philippine Sea. Maliban doon, siyempre, yung navigation lane na 80% ng kalakala ay dadaan dyan. Kaya napahalaga yun. Siyempre, yung security nila dyan. Kaya nga, basing military yung tinatayo nila dyan sa 7 artificial island na itinayo nila. Kaya welcome yun. Sana, tuloy-tuloy yun at totally dapat ipatupad.
Any different story for the 4th straight week, there is a possibility that prices in oil products will again increase. This warns by the industry players, saying kerosene and diesel prices may increase, but they will implement a rollback in gasoline prices. The Department of Energy explained that there is a high demand in diesel, a reason for unsustained prices settlement. As per the advisory trading in the world market, 80 cents per liter were increased in diesel, kerosene by 16 cents per liter. A gasoline rollback placed at 22 cents per liter. Relation to this, amid the sustained increase in fuel prices, a transport group, Piston, calls on Marcos's administration to suspend the oil deregulation law as well as stopping the implementation of fuel taxes. Vanessa Cleofas with the full details.
Pinagkaisang samahan ng tsuper at operator nationwide or Piston calls President-elect Ferdinand Marcos Jr. to revise the oil deregulation law provision and stop fuel taxes. According to Modesto Floranda, national president of Piston, it may allow the Department of Energy or DOE to review and have the authority to analyze the income and losses of oil companies if petrol prices are lowered. He also added that if the implementation of the tax on petroleum product are temporarily stopped, it will return to 16 pesos per liter.
Panawagan ng Piston at ng sektor ng transportasyon sa incoming of President ay kagyat na repiksahin yung provision ng oil deregulation law dahil ang sinasabi nga ng Department of Energy mismo ay nakatali yung kanilang kamay sa loob ng 24 years sa provision na ito na kung saan ay hindi talaga nila mapag-aralan yung kita at lugi ng sinasabi nilang kumpanya ng mga nanlangis. Ang sa atin ay kailangan isuspindi muna yung implementation ng buwis sa produktong petrolyo dahil pag ito ay nasuspende ay automatic na mayroong babalik, may babalik per liter na 16 pesos kung sahanin ng transportasyon at siyempre ang epekto nito ng pagsuspende nito yung pagsuspende rin nung tuloy-tuloy na pagtaas ng mga bilihin. Kaya't magbe-benefits yung hindi lamang ang sektor ng transportasyon kundi ang mga mamamayan. Kaya ang panawagan nga natin ay kagyat na ibasura itong mga buwis na ito sa produktong petrolyo.
He also said that the provision of fuel subsidy to drivers will not provide a solution to reduce the price of petroleum if the price of oil continues to increase.
Ang fuel subsidy ay hindi siya magre-resolve doon sa problema ng pagtaas ng presyo ng petrolyo dahil mawawalan ito ng saysay, na kung tuloy-tuloy naman natataas yung presyo ng langis. Sabi nga natin, ay 3 Martes na tumaas ng hindi sintabo kundi piso. 6 na piso, 4 pesos, kanong nakarang Martes ay 3 pesos and 10 centavos. Na halos sa 3 sunod ay 12 pesos na yung itinaas muli sa presyo ng diesel. Kaya tayo ay talagang mariin natin itong kinukundim. Mariin natin itong at sinasabi nga.
That is why they will continue to call on the incoming president to thoroughly study the oil tax provisions. Vanessa Cleofas for Eurotv News.
The Passenger Forum, a transport advocate network, has welcomed the appointment of former Philippine Airlines Chief Jaime Batista as the incoming Transportation Secretary. However, the group challenges Bautista to start looking into solutions on how to solve the current transportation crisis carried out by the series of wrong steps of the current Transportation Department headed by Secretary Arthur Tugade. The transport advocate likewise hopes that the incoming Transportation Secretary has the willingness to coordinate with other agencies to combat the commuters' problem as a need problems need as a whole of the government approach. Bautista was tapped by President-elect Ferdinand Marcos to lead the DOTR. The incoming administration of President-elect Ferdinand Marcos are studying plans to extend the barangay chairman's term into 5 years. Attorney Vic Rodriguez, who is the executive secretary designate, said Marcos might consider to enact a law in the next Congress that will extend the term of the barangay officials, as they believe that this would provide stability and governance. Rodriguez made this statement upon facing Quezon City's barangay leaders. Once granted, a 3-year term of barangay officials will extend into 5 years, while the barangay and SK elections are set on December 2022. The national government and the provincial government of Cebu have decided to end the face-off between ruling of face mask wearing. Interior Secretary Eduardo Año said that they are already talked with Cebu Governor Gwen Garcia, where both parties have agreed that wearing of face masks are now optional outside and even in well-ventilated areas. Año has cited that they are currently crafting the implementing rules and regulations to rationalize the mandatory wearing of face masks. The Department of the Interior and local government earlier said that provincial ordinances are not allowed to change the Executive Order 151 signed by President Duterte, which declaring the mandatory wearing of face masks in the whole nation. Stay tuned for more stories as Eurotv News Tonight. We'll be right back.
Magsama-sama, magpapakuna, magsayawan, pag-fully vax na. Tayo'y magpapakuna. Let's spread the good vibes sa bayan. Tayo'y magsama-sama. Let's get back for good vibes, kababayan.
Let's bakuna na para sa pamilya at komunidad. Magpa-booster para sa todong proteksyon.
Welcome back. You're still watching Eurotv News Tonight. Media organizations, Fisher Fox groups are planning to file a petition upon the implementation of the National Telecommunications Commission shutting down websites allegedly linked to terrorist group. Upon condemning the order of the National Security Council to block sites or site access of more than 20 organizations, the Pambansang Lakas ng Mamalakaya sa Pilipinas or Pamalakaya said they are now wanted to petition the order of the NTC. Pamalakaya National Chairman Fernando Hicap said this is a clear direct attack on the marginalized sector in saying this is unconstitutional.
Panawagan natin kay Secretary National Security Advisor Jaime Batista sa NTC na bawiin ang pag-block sa aming website. Wala pong katotohanan at walang batayan ang kanilang accusation na kami ay involved, o meron man kaming ginawa na masasabi natin na terrorist na gawain, Malinaw po ang laman ng aming mga website ay yung mga araw-araw na issue na kinakaharap ng mga mangingisda tulad ng mga reklamasyon, Tulad ng pagtutol namin dyan sa reklamasyon, pagtutol doon sa mga blocks and mining, doon sa aming pagtutol sa mapanirang reklamasyon. Baka pressured, ang gobyerno at si National Security Advisor Esperon, kaya ginagawa. At malinaw na ito ay paglabag sa aming constitutional right ng mapayapang magpapayag na aming opinion at paninindigan to address the government ng aming mga grievance. Sa ngayon wala pa, pero meron na kaming mga initial na pag-uusap sa mga abogado at formally ay magpapile kami.
Meanwhile, media organization Bulatlat likewise said this is a form of intimidation who criticizes the government. On Thursday, the Department of National Defense has backed the NSC for blocking sites they are saying as found to be affiliated with the terrorist groups. Upon taking the oath as the representative of the P3 PWD party list in the Congress, former COMELEC Commissioner Rowena Guanzon insists that was no ethical issue as she sits down in the Congress. Guanzon, who served as poll body commissioner since 2015 to 2022, the incoming lawmakers emphasized that COMELEC and Bank has granted her substitution as the first nominee of the party list. The Duterte Youth Party list have challenged the said substitution and adding that Guanzon has failed to meet the substitution of deadline. Guanzon have already took her oath as the first nominee of the said party list in the Congress. To Today, June 24, the San Juan City are celebrating a Watawata Festival. As part of its traditional celebration, thousands of people have participated in the city's Basaan Festival. This is to honor their patron, Saint John the Baptist. This is also the first time that people in San Juan have celebrated the said festival under the pandemic. Weather updates. Fair weather is expected in the most part of the country due to the easterlies, according to State Weather Bureau Pag-asa. However, chance of scattered rain showers is still expected due to the localized thunderstorms. Pag-asa has yet to detect any weather disturbances in the next 2 to 3 days. For stories around the globe, at least 4 people have died and 5 others got injured in a cargo plane crash in the city of Ryazan in southeast Moscow in Russia. The authorities said a Russian military cargo plane crew has decided to land emergency due to an engine malfunction. The aircraft was on training flight and was destroyed when it hits the ground. The Russian Defense Ministry said injured military personnel were taken to the hospital. More stories around the globe. Taiwan will donate $1 million to Afghanistan, who have been hit by the 5.9 magnitude quake. This is part of the relief efforts in response to the call of the United Nations and other humanitarian assistance. According to Taiwan Presidential Office, the government will donate based on the spirit of humanitarian care for disaster relief regardless of the national borders. More than 8,000 of people have died in Afghan earthquake and thousands more have been left homeless. In our sports news, Kaiso has been undrafted in the NBA 2022 rookie draft. Still, this is not the end of Soto's campaign vying for slots in the NBA teams. The Filipino center remains optimistic as he was grateful with the opportunity. Alongside with Soto, Remy Martin and Ron Harper Jr., 2 other Filipino players were undrafted. Out of 100 applicants, 58 players were drafted in the biggest world basketball league. And those were the top stories for tonight. You can visit our social media account, facebook.com/official Eurotv News for the latest and hottest update. Once again, my name is Alvin Pelobello and you're still watching Eurotv News Tonight. Your news, our business.